You want to buy some guns? Sure. Welcome to Reviews of Reviews, the show where I review reviews of newly released films.
Hello?
Hey,
Hey, babe.
did I wake you?
No, I'm just at the hotel. We're about to have some breakfast.
This week we're looking at War Dogs. Our first review comes from the LA Times. Jonah Hill kills, but War Dogs misses its target. By Justin Chang, film critic. I'm glad the LA Times makes it clear that Chang is a film critic, because in the past I've been duped by too many weathermen reviewing films. Chang's review starts off with a pretty strong first paragraph despite its pretentiousness. Set during the final years of the George W. Bush administration, this shipsod comic thriller purports to tell the wild and crazy tale of Ephraim Deveroli and David Packouz, two startup war profiteers from Miami. But then Chang f***s up. In his second paragraph, he says he wishes this film had been directed by David O. Russell instead of Todd Phillips. Chang forgets that reviews are not subjective. They are supposed to be purely fact-based. And what's worse is after this, the entire review, he gets on some moral high ground. Ephraim's personal dislike for Bush is utterly immaterial. As he pragmatically notes, it's not about being pro-war, it's about being pro-money. But if he and his partner have no meaningful politics to speak of, the same could be said of War Dogs, which gleefully encourages its characters' bumbling incompetence as well as their astounding moral idiocy. Towards the end, Chang says, the filmmaking is surprisingly lazy, even listless, starts with obvious music cues. And I agree, music should not be placed in obvious parts of a film. They should be sporadically encountered because otherwise it kind of diminishes the content of the film itself. So Chang gets a +1 for a strong introductory paragraph and for advocating random placement of music, but he gets a -1 for being un-American and for mentioning David O. Russell, a director who's worked with George Clooney.
I think you should come work for me.
I'm against this war.
This isn't about being pro-war. This is about being pro-money.
Our next review is from the AV Club, or AV Club. The gun-running true story War Dogs is all bark, no bite, by Ignatiy Vishnevetsky. All bark and no bite? There's one line at the end of Vishnevetsky's review that not only sums up his review, but it sums up all the negative reviews I've seen on War Dogs. The problem of fact might be less germane if Phillips were crafting something more compelling than a meandering comedy dependent on its lead's natural high-strung and often high rapport. Many critics seem to have wanted a kind of like hardcore hitting expose on this scandal that happened a few years ago, something along the lines of like Clinton Cash. But it was never marketed that way. In fact, when I first saw the trailer, I thought it was just going to be kind of like a lighthearted romp through Iraq or the Middle East. And I was surprised. It was a lot darker, dealt with a lot more darker themes than what I had expected, and it dealt with it in a really good way. Also, reviewers, stop using words like germane. I know you're trying to justify your worthless degree and the massive amount of student loan debt that you accumulated, but it's annoying. And I'm getting sick of it. So AV Club goes in the bad pile because the review was too fixated on some kind of movie they had made up in their own mind and they weren't satisfied that that wasn't the film that they saw.
I thought you meant pillows.
Not busting Cheney's America!
Our final review comes from Variety. Film review, War Dogs by Owen Gleiberman. Director Todd Phillips has made his first terrific movie for grown-ups. Boom, this review already goes into the good pile. Because that's exactly what I was thinking once the credits started rolling. It's like Todd Phillips, he's kind of like matured as a director. He's still able to do like a comedy, but with more realistic subject matter, and still able to convey these relatable characters despite being so different from, from us. As the reviewer Gleiberman says, War Dogs marks a key turning point for Phillips. After all these years of yaks, it's his first true grown-up movie, and it's a nimble, gripping, and terrific one, with plenty of laughs, only now they're rooted in the reality of fear and in behavior that's authentically scurrilous. The review itself does a good job of giving you the backstory of the film and kind of a really good character analysis, in particular with Jonah Hill. We should objectively be repelled by him, but in War Dogs, Hill, more than ever, is a true star, with a hellbent charisma that comes from deep within. And I agree, there's only one other performance that Hill has done that kind of rivals this.
I've been a supporter of the LGBTQ community my entire life, and I completely let the members of that community and everybody else down when I used a word like that this weekend.
So there you have it. The critics seem to really pan War Dogs, but the people seem to really love it. Like if you see like user reviews, I personally really loved it, and I plan to probably go see it again, which is really saying something because I do everything in my power to avoid engaging in any type of social activity. And hopefully when you see it, you'll be inspired, just like I was, to become a war profiteer.
Is this safe, driving to Baghdad?
Very safe. 50-50.